Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Mastering English with Podcasts. Today, we're diving into a topic that's super close to our hearts: why reading is important when it comes to learning English.
And before we get started, we've got some exciting news. From today's episode onward, you'll notice something new: subtitles. So now, not only can you listen to what we're saying, but you can also read along. It's a double benefit for improving both your reading and listening skills.
Exactly, Ricky. So, if you're someone who wants to get better at reading while also practicing listening, this is the perfect episode for you. All right, let's dive into why reading is so crucial for mastering English.
So, Razel, when we talk about reading, we're not just talking about novels or textbooks, right?
Absolutely. Reading can be anything: articles, blogs, short stories, even subtitles on movies and TV shows. The key point is that reading helps you see the language in its written form. It reinforces vocabulary, grammar, and sentence structure, which are all essential for becoming fluent.
And let's not forget, reading also introduces you to new words and phrases that you might not come across in daily conversation. It broadens your understanding and makes you more confident in using the language.
That's a great point, Ricky. And one key technique to improve your reading skills is to start with material that interests you. If you're passionate about a subject, you're more likely to stick with it, and that's when the real improvement happens.
Right. And here's a tip. Don't worry if you don't understand every single word at first. The idea is to get the gist of the content. Over time, you'll start recognizing patterns and context, which will help you understand and remember new vocabulary.
And what happens if you don't practice reading regularly? Well, you might struggle with comprehension, which can slow down your progress in other areas like speaking and writing. Reading daily, even if it's just for 15 to 20 minutes, can make a huge difference in your overall language skills.
Definitely. Daily practice builds up your reading stamina just like a muscle. The more you read, the easier it becomes. But let's talk about the obstacles. What do you think are some of the common challenges people face when they start reading in English?
I'd say one of the biggest obstacles is getting discouraged when you don't understand everything. It can be frustrating, but it's important to remember that learning a language is a journey. Another challenge is finding the time to read, especially if you have a busy schedule.
That's true. But there's always a way to fit in some reading practice. It could be during your commute, right before bed, or even during lunch breaks. And like Razel said, start with something you enjoy, maybe a favorite author or a topic you're curious about.
And here's a tip for the right way to practice. Don't just passively read. Engage with the text. Highlight new words, jot down notes, or even summarize what you've read. This active involvement helps reinforce what you've learned.
As for how long you should practice each day, start small. Aim for 15 to 20 minutes, then gradually increase as you get more comfortable. Consistency is key, so try to make reading a daily habit.
And if you're looking for the easiest way to follow a reading practice, combine it with something else, like with our podcast, for example. As you listen, you can read along with the subtitles we've provided. It's a fantastic way to double up on your practice.
Exactly. Our podcast not only helps you with listening skills, but also enhances your reading practice. It's a win-win situation.
All right, now that we've covered the basics of why reading is important for learning English, let's turn to some questions from our amazing audience.
Yes, we've received some fantastic questions about this topic, and we can't wait to dive into them. Let's get started with the first one.
Audience questions.
Hi, Razel and Ricky. My name is Sarah. My question is, how do I choose the right books or materials to read if I'm just starting to learn English?
Great question, Sarah. When you're just starting out, it's important to choose materials that match your current level. Look for graded readers or books specifically designed for English learners. These books are often categorized by level, so you can find something that's just right for you.
Also, think about your interests. If you love mystery novels or science fiction, try to find simplified versions of those genres. The key is to enjoy what you're reading. When you're interested, it won't feel like a chore, and you'll naturally want to keep going.
Exactly. And don't forget, you can always ask for recommendations from other learners or even your teachers. They might know some great resources that are just right for your level.
Hey, I'm Tom. My question is, sometimes I get stuck on a word I don't know and it slows me down. Should I stop and look it up every time?
That's a common issue, Tom. The trick is to find a balance. If you stop too often, it can interrupt the flow and make reading feel frustrating. Instead, try to guess the meaning from the context. Look at the surrounding words and see if you can figure it out.
Yes, context is your friend here. If the word is really important to the sentence and you can't move on without understanding it, then go ahead and look it up. But if you can still understand the overall meaning of the sentence, it might be better to keep reading and come back to it later.
Another tip is to make a note of words you don't know and look them up after you finish the paragraph or page. This way, you're not constantly interrupting your reading, but still learning new vocabulary. Hi, I'm Lisa. I find it hard to stay focused when I'm reading in English. Any tips on how to improve my concentration? That's a really good question, Lisa. One way to improve concentration is to break your reading into shorter sessions. Instead of trying to read for an hour straight, start with 10-15-minute sessions and gradually increase the time as your concentration improves.
Another technique is to set specific goals for your reading. For example, decide that you'll read one chapter or a certain number of pages before taking a break. Having a clear goal in mind can help keep you focused.
You can also try reading aloud or using a pencil to follow along with the text. This engages multiple senses and can help you stay more engaged with what you're reading. Plus, reading aloud is great for improving pronunciation and fluency.
Hi, this is David. I've been practicing reading every day, but I'm not sure how to measure my progress. How can I tell if I'm improving?
Great question, David. One way to measure your progress is to keep a reading journal. After each reading session, jot down how much you read, what new words you learned, and how well you understood the material. Over time, you'll be able to see patterns and improvements.
Another indicator is your speed and comprehension. If you notice that you're reading faster and understanding more without needing to stop as often, that's a clear sign of progress. You might also find that texts you struggled with before are now easier to read.
And don't forget to test yourself periodically. You can go back to a text you read a few months ago and see how much easier it feels now. That's always a great confidence booster.
Hi, I'm Maria. I've heard that reading aloud can improve my English skills. Is that true? Should I be doing it every day?
Yes, Maria. Reading aloud is a fantastic way to improve your English skills. It helps with pronunciation, fluency, and even listening. When you read aloud, you're practicing speaking and listening at the same time, which is a double benefit.
And it's a great way to build confidence. If you read aloud regularly, you'll get more comfortable with speaking English, which will help you in conversations.
You don't have to do it every day, but incorporating it into your practice a few times a week can be really beneficial. Start with short passages and gradually work your way up to longer texts. And if you're feeling brave, record yourself and listen back to track your progress.
Those were some amazing questions. Thanks so much to everyone who sent them in. We hope our answers helped clarify some of the challenges and benefits of reading in English.
Definitely. And remember, if you've got more questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. We love hearing from you, and we're here to help.
And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to Mastering English with Podcasts. Like this video and share it with anyone you think might benefit from it.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Keep reading, keep practicing, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.